Hey everybody, checking out 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and this is day 22nd. I guess 9 more days, and then this is over. And 9 more days till Halloween. Oh my goodness. I feel like I should be listening to the Halloween 3 theme right now. Like 9 more days till Halloween, Halloween. I don't know. You come on, please tell me you've seen Halloween 3.
Of course, it's
Okay.
like one of the best of the franchises. I was laughing.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I have a guest here with me today while we talk about our movie. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Madeline Deering, director of Spirit Animal, and here joining, talking about Funhouse Massacre.
Yes, we are talking about Funhouse Massacre. Dun dun dun. This I was talking to you before about it, but I
Yes.
had never actually seen it. I had heard of it, and it's really funny because I was co-writing with another partner at one point a script that was very similar to this idea, except not in the funhouse, but like the idea of my script was 7 psychopaths get like let loose, uh and it was a little bit different of a script because it was a different. I had the idea of using Robert England too. I wanted like
Really?
all of the big horror names to be the psychopaths. So all the villains you grew to love, like Kane Hodder would be one, Tony Todd would be one, all of them. They also made another movie called Death House, which is very similar to that idea too, in a way,
Oh,
except Death
or Death
House,
House.
yeah. Well, we won't get into that.
Not
But
to get sidetracked.
no, I mean, I know it's not even that. Like, it's sort of still on the same track, but I feel bad because I know the director of Death House, and I love him to death. No pun intended. But I honestly just felt that it was a great concept, and then I think somewhere like in maybe the writing or the rewriting or
Mhm.
whatever, it just got lost, I think. And sometimes it happens, like with a lot of stuff. It
Oh, I can 100% agree with that. I like the concept. I was excited to see
Yeah,
it, but
everybody was excited to see it, and then it just didn't do well, and that's sad. But Funhouse Massacre, I believe, is sort of like that, where it's a similar story, in the sense of like, um, uh, you know, so it's a similar story, that is basically, this what is it? These psychopaths, 6 of them. In my story, there were 7, and they just escaped into a small town and started killing everybody, instead of them, you know,
hiding
going
out in
into
the funhouse.
hiding out in a funhouse, which I think it makes it more fun. Like they did a better job.
Yeah.
Like I will agree. Like their idea and my idea similar enough, but not like their idea was better in a way. But hiding out in a funhouse, because it brings you see movies like Bloodfest and Hellfest and all
Yep.
these movies that are similar, Escape Room, all these movies where you're kind of stuck in the fun house or whatever, and then it happens
Like
to be
houses,
real.
houses that built October. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the other one I thought of.
I've never seen that one either. I know of it. It's on like
Yeah.
Netflix or something, and I've been
It's on
wanting.
Hulu,
Oh,
at
Hulu.
least.
Okay.
Hulu, yeah.
I've been wanting to see it at some point, but it just never did. I didn't know it was about. Is it about like a fun house or a haunted house kind of attraction?
It's about a haunted house where, yeah, there's people inside who do it for real. It's the scariest haunted house, and the people go to check it out. And it's kind of a similar idea because there's killers inside.
Well, my idea for the movie is completely different than what, and I was really disappointed to find out they used Robert England for the first 5-10 minutes of the movie and kill him off.
Oh, that's how
And
they always go.
well, no, he should have been
In
the
a
one.
lot of these movies,
Honestly, he
they
should have
small
been the
appearance.
Jer Burns character. He
Oh, I
should.
agree.
I mean, I feel like that was a waste of. of him, or he should have been one of the killers, you know,
Yeah,
because it's been forever since we've gotten him as a killer. Like he's been usually
definitely.
like the doctor or, you know, these different things that maybe set things up, but never, you know what I mean? But he's
He's
never been a
usually
killer.
cameo appearance
Yeah,
anymore.
I know. I mean, I understand he's probably a little bit costly, you know, and stuff. So like having a lot of people can't really afford to put him in throughout the whole movie. But like, come on now, you know, you're gonna have an actor of Robert England's caliber. You gotta utilize him. And I feel like he wasn't utilized well. Like his character was just kind of boring, and there was no. It's not like there was backstory to him or anything. Like he was just the doctor at that time that had the patients, you know.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was very disappointed by that. But then, so I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this movie now. Like literally, that's how I was feeling. Then I watch it, and I'm like, okay, it's getting better, you know. Um, Clint Howard as the taxidermist. I mean, come
I
on now.
love Clint Howard. It's
I
great to see. It was great to see him in this.
I know he's fantastic. Jer Burns was fantastic as the leader. You know, I always remember him. He
Yeah,
was on a show called Dear John, I think back in the day.
I
Uh,
haven't seen that one.
yeah. How old are you, by the way?
Oh, 32
Oh
now.
wow, so you're not much younger than me, because like a lot of people I have on my guests are in their 20s and whatever, and
Yeah.
a lot of them have no clue what I'm talking about at all. So yeah, if I said Dear John, they'd be like, huh? What right? But yeah, he was in a show. I think it was called Dear John. Let me look that up real quick to make sure. Um, yep, and that's how I remembered him. It was with what's his name? Judd Hirsch. Judd Hirsch had his
Okay.
after Taxi. They needed to get him into another sitcom, and that. And I just remember watching it, and then I rewatched it recently. I was like, this is nearly not as funny, like as I remembered as a kid. I
They
guess,
never are. Well,
right?
sometimes they are, but a lot of times it's like, why?
Well, I can still watch Cheers. Cheers is still funny to
Oh,
me.
Cheers is great. I mean, there's a lot of great classic sitcoms.
Well, right, and I thought that was on par, but you look at it as like it's just like also watching. I used to love Coach, and watching that, I'm just it's
Oh
like
God, yeah, I haven't watched Coach in
cringeworthy,
years.
cringeworthy. Laugh like the laugh tracks are annoying, and it's just terrible. So yeah. So it's that Gia Burns was in that show, and so I always remembered him on that. Like I don't, he could do probably a million other things, and that's like still on the top of my like brain of
Of
like
course.
whenever I hear his name. And who else was in this movie?
I can't think anyone's names other than them.
Other than them, because yeah, I think that was Courtney Gaines is in it, but like he's only in it for like 3 minutes, 2 minutes or something, I believe, right? Like if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, but I thought he was the one of the cops that comes at the end that gets his like gun
Was
taken
he?
away.
Because I don't even remember.
Yeah, well, it's that small of a freaking part, and it
That's
was
probably why it just went right past me.
yeah.
So
He
it's just another cameo.
another really like I mean, that's the thing I hate with these movies is a lot of times they give the cameos and they don't really like do them well, you know? Like you look at,
Yeah.
you know, it says Courtney Gaines played a character named Dennis. And I'm like, I don't remember Dennis like at all.
No.
Like I remember there was a guy there was one point where all the cops were showing up and they're pointing their guns out at everybody, and then uh, the main guy, or not the main guy, but the writer of the film, who Ben Beagley, he actually played the cop. He played like the deputy.
The Deputy Doyle.
Yeah, Deputy Doyle, who
He was
I
hilarious. He's my favorite.
which so it made me like start to wonder if this was like sort of like their own like Scream or their own like scary movie, because it was kind of a similar thing to both, you know what I mean, where it
Yeah.
was, and there's the deputy who was kind of dumb, but he he saves the day at the end, just like Deputy Dewey and and Scream. Like,
Exactly. And I mean, Doyle and Dewey are so close, but
that's
I did enjoy the character.
well. Did you when
But
you
it's definitely reminiscent of Scream.
well when you
100%.
first watched that? Did you think about that? Did you think Scream
Oh, for
when you heard
sure.
Deputy Doyle? You know.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
especially if you see like he's playing like video games in the office and stuff with his Nintendo, and like it's
Nintendo.
funny,
Like
but
he's playing Nintendo. I thought that was the strangest thing in the world. Like, what are you doing? Like, why?
got
Like,
like the old Nintendo gun shooting. I don't know if that's a real game or not, but it's like Duck
I think
Hunt.
it
My
was.
friend
It
had one of
was.
those.
They didn't play Duck Hunt. Maybe they didn't have the rights to Duck Hunt. But the game that they were playing, I remember it, and I'm pretty sure it was Nintendo. Like it was the gun, because it was like one of those shoot 'em up games. Because there are not that many that they
No,
released with that gun. They did Duck Hunt, and then they did like that was like a cops and robbers thing, and that's why I
of
think
course.
like that he was doing it. But like I remember that, and I was like, it was so funny because it kind of it kind of made sense because he was playing with the gun, and then when he actually shot the guy for the first time, or whatever, he like totally missed or something, and it was just
Yeah,
like he was the worst cop like ever, and then by the end he's like all of a sudden he's this badass cop because
exactly.
I mean
I mean, also kind of like what's his name? The cop in Jack Frost, who they always say can't shoot for anything,
that's true. The
and I can't think of his name for some reason. That's one of my favorite movies. But there's always those like cops who can't do their job right and save the day at the end. Scream
yeah,
wasn't the first to do it, but it's definitely what it reminds me of.
yeah, what was it does Jack Frost was one of the movies we reviewed for Indie Film Cafe already, and at some point we're gonna review because I have never seen it, but the sequel
I love the sequel, but I
that's
think I'm
set
in the
in
minority.
the Hawaii or something like that, and I'm just like that just sounds amazing. Like
It
how
is.
can you
It
even do
is.
that? Like I don't know. The sheer logistics have got to be thrown out the window. But and maybe movies like that kind of spark movies like this because you look back at Jack Frost, it was a horror film that had a little bit of comedy in it,
Yeah.
and stuff like it didn't have a. I mean, Jack Frost actually had a good amount of comedy in it. Funhouse Massacre had a lot of comedy too. Like it tried
Yeah.
it tried to keep true with that, and I guess also once again, Scream. Scream kind of helped set that tone because then it made people realize for a little bit because people thought it could only be funny or it could only be scary, right? It couldn't be both,
Mhm.
you know? And Scream set the bar for that. Though I will tell you something. I interviewed a while back, back in like 2007. I interviewed Steve Lemmy from Broken Lizard, and
Oh, okay.
we were talking about Club Dread,
I love Club
and
Dread.
he had said that he was in a plane, going back to California or something, and this lady said, "You look familiar. Do I know you from somewhere?" And he goes, "Oh, well, yeah, I am an actor. You might have seen me in my movie Super Troopers." And she was like, "No, I've never seen that." And he was like, "Oh, well, you might have seen me in my new movie Beer Fest." She's like, "No." And he goes, "Club Dread?" And she was like, "That's it." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And then it's like, "Yeah, I was in Club Dread." And she goes, "That movie sucked." And he looks over and goes, "Well, I think you forgot the part where I told you I was the actor and writer of the movie." And she was like, "No, it still sucked." And he was like, well, okay, tell me why, right? He wanted to know why. She thought it. And she was like, "I wasn't sure if I was watching a horror film or if I was watching a comedy." And he goes, "Oh, that's fair. That's a fair assessment of why it didn't do well." That mentality of people of being very confused as to whether
Yeah.
the marketing of it, or whether it was a comedy or whether it was a horror film, because horror comedy is so hard to market, because I think it's getting a little bit better now, with
I
movies like
think
Club
so,
Dread and stuff. And Funhouse Massacre is a horror comedy.
for
Eh,
sure.
it's not a comedy horror, which I think you have to like, or a parody horror, thing like Scary Movie, which you have to differentiate because the horror comes first. All the rest of the stuff might be funny, it might be scary or whatever, or it might be funny and scary, but it's usually the horror that comes first, in a horror comedy. And I think this was very funny. Like, I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, definitely.
Who's your favorite character?
I mean, I like the the Doctor Who guy. I don't remember his name because I could just think of their costumes. But I mean, I thought he was funny, and so was the B girl. I can't think of their character names. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed him, and I liked Deputy Doyle as well. So they
Yeah.
both, I think, worked well together. Oh, and Machete. So I'm naming like three characters. Machete's
Oh
my
yeah.
favorite.
The
Doyle
guy.
will be my favorite because he's funny. I think he did the humor pretty well. He's got good comedic timing. I thought he did a good job in the
He,
role.
he was the writer. Like he
Exactly. He
sort of
did
gave
great,
himself
and
the
I didn't
best.
realize he was the writer.
He gave himself the best role too, and I thought that
Exactly.
was crazy. But it was, yeah, no, it was, he was my favorite character too.
Yeah,
I absolutely adored Machete. I just thought was so funny because
he's great.
there's that one line where Doyle looks up and is like, "Is that the real Machete?" You know.
Yeah.
Um, my other favorite bit in the whole movie was with Deputy Doyle, was him at the station getting the phone calls, and like he's like the person calls up and is like he says, the guy says something to the effect of like, your ah it was something so,
That people are killing his friends and whatever.
killing his friends and all
And
that.
then
And then he
he's
was
like, "What
like,
did they look like?" And he's like, "Your mom last night."
"You from your mom last night," and he's like, "That doesn't even
That
make
doesn't
any
make any
sense."
sense.
And like, "That's what she said last night." He goes, "That
That
makes
doesn't
even
make
less
any sense.
sense." And that was like one of the
No,
best.
that's a favorite bit in the movie too.
I think that's almost everybody's favorite bit if they watch the movie, because it's so like, it's so teenage slash 20 somethings, kind of
Yeah,
humor that really still works really well for adults. Like, they can get it, they can laugh at that. So I just really enjoyed that, you know. Um,
definitely.
but yeah, so I don't know. All in all, I think everybody was fun in the movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, considering, like I said, this is my first time watching it. I'm gonna try not
Yeah,
to do any. I mean, other than that, I'm sorry we gave away the fact that Robert England dies, but that's in the first 5 minutes of the
yeah.
movie.
I
So
was gonna
I
say
mean,
you'll find that out right away.
yeah,
So
you'll find it's not like we're giving you the. I'm not gonna say the end of the movie or anything. I'm not gonna
no,
spoil it like on that. Sometimes we do, just in case it's a really good, you know, thing, and we want to talk about it or something. We have to discuss it. But it was a good. I think it was a good, clean ending that has kind of a twist at the end that sets up potentially for a sequel, which is what you
another
have to do
sequel.
these days. Uh,
Yeah, almost every horror movie has some type of teaser whether what happens or not.
right.
They're always fun.
And I like, I enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job. I just hope if they did do a sequel, I would watch that. I mean, I don't know what they would do though. It wouldn't be Funhouse Massacre, I don't think. I don't think they go back
They'd
to the
have to be
Funhouse.
somewhere else. Yeah,
But it could be a continuation of the characters from Funhouse Massacre, which I would like, you know.
yeah,
So I'm all in all, I think it's a great fun flick. If people want to check something out, have a good time watching a movie, I mean, I would definitely recommend it.
yeah.
Uh,
And
you,
it's got some great gore.
oh yeah, like we didn't even talk about that, but the gore
No,
film is just,
good kills and gore. I
yeah.
mean, my favorite kill. I think they did like the same thing in Hellfest though. Was that Well, with the strength thing. I
Oh
don't know if it
yeah.
I
Well,
guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if they. I don't remember. I have Hellfest, and I want to rewatch it at some point because I thought it was really
I
good.
like Hellfest a lot too. I think they're both good, solid slasher movies.
Okay, well, have you seen Bloodfest though?
You know what? I own Bloodfest and I haven't been able to watch it yet. I got it in the horror pack. I've been meaning to watch it.
Okay, whenever you watch it, let me know, and then
Yeah.
rewatch Hellfest or something if you need to. But tell me, let me know. I want to know which one you like better because me and my friends have these debates. I think Bloodfest is better.
Yeah.
I get a lot more out of it, but a lot of my friends love Hellfest a lot more. So we get
They
into
came out
debate.
at like exactly the same time, didn't they? If I'm
It's
not
like a
mistaken,
year
I could be
apart,
wrong.
maybe like a year apart.
Okay, so
Potentially. I think
close-ish.
Bloodfest came out first, then Hellfest came out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was close. Uh, and we're getting to that point in our life where we're kind of like that's what we kind of enjoy, and that's what we're in. Like when we go to those haunted house attractions, we're kind of putting ourselves in this potential thing of like we don't really know what could happen to us. There could be
Exactly.
a serial killer going around killing people in these things for real. We don't know. So, I mean, it's always that thrill of like going to these things.
Yeah. And
That
I love like the characters when I go to haunted house and Funhouse Massacre because that's how I am. Like, oh yeah, haha, that looks so real. Like, oh yeah, so fake.
right.
Like you're just talking shit basically. And like in this case, it's all real. And I don't know. Like if I was in a haunted house, I'd probably be in the same position.
Yeah, they were walking around looking at everything and they were like, yeah, that looks fake. Oh my God. And they
Yeah,
have no
it's
idea that the
funny.
person actually really did get murdered, or whatever. But that's, um, I love it. I loved it when they started attacking the people that were doing it, giving it
Oh
to
yeah.
their own medicine, like,
I
um,
love the fact that I guess this is kind of a spoiler, but there's a cult involved, or that he's kind of a cult leader. I love any horror movies about cults, so like the fact that that's kind of in there is really cool to me. I thought it added a lot, and like you said, I can't even think of his name, but the cult leader was like really really good.
oh yeah, Jared
And it's
Burns, who played
yes, yes.
Mental Manny was his character name.
Okay, I didn't know his name.
I know, but I don't think he ever said his name ever.
Yeah,
I did know he was the father. I guess. Fuck spoilers. We're gonna do spoilers.
I'm
'Cause
sorry, I
yeah,
can't help myself.
I've done spoilers for almost everyone except the ones I do myself, because I just don't like talking for very long. By
Yeah,
myself, I feel weird, but I do it when I'm with people because you gotta talk about that shit. I feel like, and if people watch this review, generally speaking, they might probably have already seen it or are interested in seeing it. So
and it's
spoilers
not a
ahead.
big
Spoilers,
spoiler.
big spoilers ahead. The cult leader happens to actually be the father of both girls, I think, or whatever, because
Yeah,
he says, which wait, it's so
he was the
confusing. It's a little
father
confusing.
of the police officer.
Right. Because he talked about her mother and then she said something about dad. Um, However, no, then that other girl must have been her sister or half sister or something.
Did I not
Because,
realize that? I've seen it twice.
okay, so you,
Oh man.
all right, let's get into this. Let's figure this out. So at the end of the movie, toward the end of the movie, where they have that big kind of final death between the sheriff and
Yeah.
the doctor, right? The cult leader, right?
Yeah.
So they have the big, thing, and he says something to her, and then she actually says dad to him. She calls him dad. Do you remember that?
I do now.
Because she mentions
Or I'm
mother. She mentions her. He says you're just like your mother or something like that, and then he says something. She says something like screw you dad or something like that. I think
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But she kills him, and then the girl's attacking him. Now, if you watch the beginning of the movie again, you rewatch it. there's the scene with the in the where they're like all coming to the Funhouse, right? All the Funhouse is being made, and then the guys on the mental manies on the intercoms,
Yes.
speaking on the loudspeaker. So the guy comes into the room and is like, "Hey, get off the loudspeaker. This is only for people who are employees, right, or whatever, or for only for certain things." And then he was like, "I didn't hire you, right?"
Yep.
And then he points out to the girl that he has a picture with, right? And says that that's his daughter, right, in the picture, And I believe that picture was of the girl who set everybody free, / who also plays like the nurse character who goes around killing everybody or whatever.
Yeah.
Nurse character, but she's going around. She kind of looks like a clown, She's
Yeah.
the one who kills
clown.
But I believe that's also his daughter. So I'm thinking like those two are like his daughters, maybe half daughter.
You know
like
what? I think you're right, and I don't know how I didn't
not half
catch
daughter,
that
but half
because
sisters.
in the flashback, I think she sees her father or whatever, and I think there's someone else there too. So probably her sister. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. See,
My
this
memory
movie
is pretty
goes
awful.
deeper into and this is not like this is a movie that obviously you can watch more than one time and start catching up
Yeah.
on things that you didn't realize in the beginning, or if you were confused, you can rewind it and be like, okay, now I'm getting it.
Exactly.
So yeah, I like I said, I just my only regret in this whole thing is like that Robert Englund wasn't Jer Burns, like he should have been the doctor, and or he should have been the one to set them free, because like you're gonna have like a guy who played Freddy as just a normal guy, the normal doctor who doesn't have anything kind of cool to him. I like, other than money, I don't see why he would even want to do it,
I think indie movies make that mistake a lot. Like if you saw like the recent Critters movie, they had Dee Wallace in it, and she like her role was so wasted. She could have returned as like her original character in the first Critters.
Why not? Because she didn't die in the first Critters, did she?
Exactly, but like so many indie movies seem to like get like great actors like Robert Englund, use them for like a scene or two, and like that's it. And I know, like you said, they're expensive, but utilize them a little bit. Like give them something more memorable than them just being there, probably being bored in the role.
Give them what they wanted,
Yeah.
like what the fans want. The fans want somebody to, if I want to see a Robert Englund movie, I don't want him seeing him playing a boring role. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I want him to play like somebody big, and like he doesn't. Okay, the movie that did it well with him, I think, was Hatchet.
Hatchet's awesome.
He had a So like, but that's a fan thing, Like Adam Green knew, like, if I'm gonna put Robert Englund in the movie, and I'm gonna put him in the first 10 minutes of the movie, I'm gonna make him memorable in some way or another, like a very cool kind of character that whatever, right? And that's what they did with that. Still, would I have killed him off? No, because they were smart enough not to kill off Tony Todd and Hatchet so that he could come back in the second and third one. And it just would have been cool to keep seeing Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, and Tony Todd in the movies, or whatever, because those guys are our modern Vincent Price and
for sure,
Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. I think I did it well. I don't know if Tony Todd is Bela Lugosi necessarily or not, but maybe Robert Englund would be. And like, you look at those guys and you're like, those guys are the equivalent of that now. So I would definitely, if you're gonna put him in a movie, put him some like a character. That's exactly my opinion.
Even
Um,
Robert Englund and Wishmaster is one of my favorites, and I kind of like all their roles in them, and they're short. But Robert Englund had a more memorable character in like
I
Wishmaster.
I still remember who he was. Like literally,
Exactly.
if I don't watch this movie, Funhouse Massacre, in the next whatever, a few months or something, I might forget that Robert Englund's even in the movie
Yeah,
because
because he's
he's
not memorable at all.
yeah. But I remember him in Wishmaster because in Wishmaster he was a big character. Like
Exactly.
he was the guy that freaking ran the museum or whatever and broke the crates or had the like and that's like stuff. That's what I remember from him. So
Yeah, no, definitely.
I remember that stuff. So like I wouldn't remember this. And that's kind of a sad thing. Like I think and this goes out to all indie filmmakers out there because I am doing 31 days of indie horror. If you're gonna make an indie horror movie or whatever, and you're gonna have somebody like Kane Hodder or Robert Englund or Tony Todd or any of those, Courtney Gaines. Courtney Gaines is in that new was it uh, uh, candy corn movie or whatever. You know,
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I've heard good things. I've heard great things, and I've heard he was wonderful in it, and they utilized him well. That's the point. Is like if you're gonna put him in a movie, make him a freaking big time character in it. So I agree with that. So anyway, that's it. Did you have any other things that you wanted to mention about this movie?
I don't think so. It's just, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I know I
Yeah.
watched it maybe like when it first came on Hulu 2, 3 years ago and had a lot of fun with it, and it was nice to revisit it. Still had a blast.
All right. So this is
Things
your
kept
only second
moving, and
time
even
watching
before
it.
then, yeah,
So yeah, I only watched it once, and I kind of wish that maybe like I feel like I should have been watching this because this came out in like 2015, I want to say, and
that
I
sounds about right.
and I feel like I should have been watching this for years. This
Yeah,
feels like a movie you can watch every Halloween season.
definitely. It's a good Halloween watch.
Yeah, so I recommend it. Like I said, even the stuff I didn't like was nothing. Robert Englund not being in it for very long. That's that's like 5 minutes of the movie, whatever. The rest of the movie was, I mean, once it starts getting right into everything, the kills, the characters. I mean, everybody, nobody, like, I just reviewed a movie, from yesterday's, called, was it Death Hunter, and it was like Death Hunter, was it werewolves versus vampires? Sounds fun, right? And I thought it was okay. Like it didn't
Yeah,
really do what I felt like it did. And what it really annoyed me with is it introduced four characters that pop up at the end of the movie, like toward the last 30 minutes, that's supposed to carry the rest of the movie too. And I just felt like if they had introduced these characters early on, that would have worked. They didn't do that for this movie. Had those characters early on, and they were throughout the movie. Those characters who worked together, and then they came to the Funhouse together. And then Machete ran off to leave them because he was scared of. I was like, wait a minute, why did you go to these haunted houses if you're scared of them? Like,
I know.
he has like one great line where he's like, I'm not, haunted houses scare me, and they're for white people or something like.
Yeah,
And then the
and they're
guy
like,
looked around and goes, wow, there are a lot of white people around here. And I just thought that was kind of funny.
it is. I like when Machete's in the like car talking to his girlfriend or whatever too. It's
I was
his whole
hoping he'd
character
leave.
is so funny.
I was hoping he'd leave, like, you know what I mean? Like, not that he wouldn't come back to the thing, but like, like, why didn't Machete get any? I kind
I
of thought
know.
that, that's all he wanted, was something from his girlfriend, but oh well. Um, Anywho, this is just a fun little flick and enjoyable. I think you know, uh, if anybody's looking for something to watch during Halloween, this would definitely be something I would totally recommend.
For
And
sure.
sounds like you would too. So
Oh yeah, and it's free on Tubi.
it's
So
free on Tubi. I don't know if it's on Amazon Prime or not. Sometimes Tubi movies are on Amazon Prime and vice versa, but sometimes they're not, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're on them for a little bit and then they get off. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
they go back and forth.
yeah, so it's one of those things. I guess it's all whatever's popular, whatever's not popular, you know. But I would recommend it. And I hope to do like at least one more Robert Englund movie before the end of the 31 days, because I really enjoy watching his little flicks.
He's one of
So
my favorite
yeah,
actors. Huge
me
nightmare.
too. I got to meet him once and it was awesome. It was a very cool day, you know. Since I've seen him at conventions, but he's usually got a huge line at his table, and
I can
you know,
imagine.
yeah, like huge. Like when me and my friend met him, we had to wait, like I think an hour, you know, or
Wow.
longer. We were in a line and it was moving, but you know, only so fast,
So
and
long.
we were outside of where his table was. Like we were like literally when we first walked up, we were like waiting, you know. And I think nowadays they have it set where you can you have like a number, you know, and your number gets called and
Oh,
then
like at the deli.
yeah. Yeah. You're like a deli. Like this is getting I never thought about that, but yes. I think that's for like mainly maybe photo ops, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to wait at a table, or sometimes if the actor's so big, they'll put them in their own room, you know, at the convention or whatever, just because there's so many people that, you know, are waiting in line, you
I
know.
can imagine.
Conventions have gotten bigger and crazier, you know, these days, and like some places can't even hold them, you know. Um,
Yeah. Well, Robert was supposed to be at Steel City Con, but I mean, I guess that's canceled. So I
oh,
assume. Well, I know they canceled it, rescheduled it, and yeah, it just hasn't happened. So
I don't know. And like, because of COVID, conventions have kind of taken a plummet. I feel
yeah.
like,
Oh
but they've
yeah.
been doing like virtual
Yeah.
ones,
There's a
but
lot of virtual ones.
I'm like, it's
It's
not the
not the same.
same at all. Like my first experience at a horror convention was Texas Frightmare 2010, and was walking in to the hotel, and the first person I see in the lobby of the hotel is John Carpenter getting interviewed. And then I
That's
see like Sid Haig and Bill Moseley walking right by me, talking to each other, you know, right? And then I
yeah.
saw Kane Hodder staring at me. So I told Sid Haig once during an interview with him that I felt like I was in Jurassic Park, you know, and I was like seeing the dinosaurs for the first time. So seeing all
Yeah.
these like people I looked up to, and like, oh my God, like John Carpenter's right there, Sid, and you know, right, and Sid's joke was the only difference is we're not allowed to eat the people. You know, he goes, that's in our contract. So I was like, oh, there you go. But he's a sweet man. And I got to watch another
Yeah.
Sid movie before the end of the 31 days. So I don't think I've seen any Sid movies yet. So might have to watch that new one, the Three from
I'll have
Hell,
to. Oh,
which
Three from Hell.
yeah, I have not heard any good things about that yet, but
I saw it in the theater. I missed like the first maybe 5-10 minutes. It was okay.
okay.
I'd like to
Oh,
rewatch it in its entirety, but yeah, I mean
yeah.
it's no Devil's Rejects.
Well, not, you know,
Not that it could be.
and it's funny because a lot of people like House of a Thousand Corpses. I was not a fan of House of a Thousand Corpses. I felt it was kind of, I don't know, like it just wasn't for me. But then I love Devil's Rejects, and
Oh
so
yeah, it's a
I was,
masterpiece.
yeah. So it didn't even, it wasn't a horror movie, you know. To me, it was like a thriller, a serial killer thriller kind of thing. So, and action, you know, like it just did
Yep.
not feel like your horror kind of thing. And then he did like Halloween, and then he did
Yeah.
Lords of Salem. I
Lords
hated,
of Salem.
but I did like 31 a
I didn't.
lot.
Yeah, I didn't really like 31.
You didn't like 31?
No, maybe I should probably try to rewatch it. I've talked to quite a few people about it who enjoyed it recently, and I thought I should give it another shot. But I'd
I
like to give Lords of Salem another shot too.
Oh, not
But
me. Ugh, I might.
again, I
I
love like
own them all.
type
I own.
movies, and it has like the ingredients to make a movie I should love, but I know I didn't enjoy it when I watched it.
Well, there you go. Well, we did exactly what I said that I wasn't
Quadrat.
planning to do, but we got off track, of course. But that happens on all my stuff, so I'm not surprised. However, once again, if you're a fan of Funhouse, like Funhouse type movies, which is funny because I think last year, or the year before, was the first time I ever watched. I actually sat down and watched Funhouse, which I loved.
That's a great movie.
This is a little bit different. This isn't a real like the technical fun house kind of things that everybody. This was a haunted house, fun house thing. Like this is, so it's a little bit different than what like the movie Funhouse was like. And I watched that for the first time and loved it, and I want a Blu-ray of it at some point because it did. I watched it on DVD, and it was like on a 4-pack with like 2 other movies.
Oh yeah.
Or 3 other movies, and it was not the best quality, but it still looked amazing, and actually kind of reminded me of the old VHS days, so I was okay with it. But I would like to see a Blu-ray, the cleaned up version of it, So there we go. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, I've just been promoting my movie Spirit Animal, and we were at Creature Feature Weekend this past weekend in Newville, PA. So we were selling copies and
Nice.
just kind of promoting it. And other than that, yeah.
Going to conventions, man. I mean, if you can, do it.
It was at a drive-in, so it
Oh,
was
that's
definitely
even
a lot
cool.
of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Where were they playing at the drive-in?
So the first night they played Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which we all know is
Classic.
amazing. And then Sky Sharks, which was like the biggest disappointment of my life. Have you heard of Sky Sharks? It's
Sounds fun,
Nazi sharks.
Oh yeah, no, I have heard of it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I was very disappointed.
Okay.
And the second night they played Lost Boys and Trick or Treat. So
Oh, nice.
good
Well,
picks.
Trick or Treat, yeah, and Lost Boys is a classic.
Oh yeah.
Can't go wrong, except for the sequels, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the sequels, but just because they made those like way too late in the game.
Yeah.
I feel like it was. It's like after a while you need to do a reboot and not a sequel.
Well, they were gonna do a Lost Boys TV show, didn't they? Weren't they? I don't think it happened.
Yeah.
I read about it.
Yeah.
But so yeah. And doing my Shitty Shark Show podcast, which
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that earlier to me. So
yeah.
Awesome. So do you have episodes up already?
We have 2 episodes up. An episode goes up every other Thursday. So a new episode will go up next Thursday.
Where can people find it?
On our Facebook page, you look up Shitty Shark Show. Of
Okay.
course, Facebook doesn't allow you to use shitty in your Facebook page, so
And sort of understand that. I mean,
yeah,
censoring
but I can
some
still
words.
complain.
Kids might not, be able to be allowed to read that, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
listen to us babble about shitty shark movies. So
yeah, it's true. But,
yeah, and our first episode was a post-apocalyptic commando shark. If you've seen that one.
Oh my God, no! But I worked on a project. I worked with Sam, who did that.
Yeah.
Who did it, and I've also like we reviewed Snow Shark, which he also did.
I have Snow Shark.
Yeah, which is it's really funny. So
I
anyway,
love it.
yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, well, I guess we'll wrap this up. Thank you so much. I'm glad we were able to talk about this. Stay after. I'll chat with you for briefly right after. But thank you guys for checking this out. Join me tomorrow for my next movie. All right. Bye.
Bye.